Well, good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, August 4th, 2026, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Commissioners Fournier and Bell are out of the office today, so we get to have a conversation together, which is great. I've missed the last couple because I was traveling, and I'm delighted to be back with everyone today. Okay, with that, Board of Commissioners roll call is unnecessary. I'm here. So we will jump right in with Adventist Health Tillamook and Eric Swanson. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner. We have 13 patients in the hospital today. Yesterday, we did 6 surgery cases. Ambulance crews did 9 911 transports, 1 transfer, and 1 transport home. If you're coming into the hospital today, there's a lot of activity around the main entrance. We have some roofing repairs going on, so the roofing crew is out there working. So just be careful as you navigate your way into the hospital through the main doors today. And unless you've got questions for me, that's all I've got for you this morning.
Excellent, thank you. I don't have questions, but I just had a comment from a meeting that I was in yesterday. I sit on the board for Northwest Senior and Disability Services, and they were talking about a pilot they are a part of in the Salem area to move people out of hospital settings into long-term care settings where that's appropriate at a faster pace. And it was very interesting to listen. Yeah, I know. It was very interesting to listen to, having come from my background with the 2 senior assisted livings prior to the pandemic, because the process they were describing was so much more similar to how it used to be, where you had an assigned caseworker and an assigned financial worker, and you knew who they were, and you could call and reach out to them, and they specifically were working directly with local people, working directly with the social workers at the hospital to get placement and do it rapidly. So I have my fingers crossed that that model will be where they land, sort of looking backwards to go forward to where local relationships and local speed can help those who are otherwise sort of stuck. So anyway, it was exciting to hear, and I will be hopeful that that comes to our county soon.
That would be great. I appreciate you sharing that with us this morning.
Absolutely. We'll push for that. So thank you for your report, and we will go ahead and move on to the Coastal Caucus. And I know that Senator Weber is here. She said good morning earlier. So please, Senator, kick us off.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to be here. You know, it's kind of hazy outside. And I realized that some of that could possibly be from the smoke of wildfires. We had a friend come over from Bend yesterday talking about the color of the sky. And when you look at the color of the sunset last night, you realize that smoke may have, from the wildfires, may have played a part in the color of the sunset, even though it was beautiful. So anyway, good morning, everyone. This is an important week in Tillamook because it is our fair time, and I'm looking forward to that. Starts tomorrow, big day. I'm pleased to be able to say that I can volunteer at the fair with several other ladies, and we provide food for the people that work there, and the volunteers and the parimutuel and the fair board, so that they get guaranteed lunch and dinner that they can just pick up and go with Monday through Saturday of the fair, because you know the important times are also the times when they're setting up and making ready for everything. And there's a lot of really important things that they're working out, because you know if a lot of these places have been closed down for most of the year, there's bugs in the system that need to be taken care of, and these are the days that everyone is there working on it. And you've seen the parking lot and all that's been done there, and there's all kinds of things you're going to see when you go to the fair that are improvements and make it a safe and wonderful place to visit. So I encourage you to take part in coming to the fair. It's community at its very best. And also to acknowledge that this weekend is very important in other parts of our district too, because it's also Regatta Days in Astoria, And there's lots of events going on in Astoria, and it's also the Lauder Days in Vernonia. And they're having a big parade and a big celebration this weekend. And we're celebrating summer, I guess. And hopefully it'll all turn out all right. I had a busy week last week. I think I was gone every day from home. And my peas suffered because I see that some of them have dried out, but hopefully I'm still going to get some peas. But the Korean delegation for the uncrewed aircraft was in Oregon last week, and I was there in Scappoose to welcome them and to also see what additionally is happening at OMIC, the Oregon manufacturing facility that is in conjunction with PCC in Scappoose. And what they are doing there is just fascinating. But the Korean delegation started in Scappoose to see what is happening there and to give, a pitch on what it is they hope to achieve in bringing their drones to Oregon. They also went to Pendleton, so it was a whirlwind trip for them to see what was available in the eastern part of the state. And then they came back to Tillamook on Wednesday because we have a state-of-the-art facility for being able to test what the drones are capable of. And so it was very interesting to once again talk with them and see what their hopes are for the future and maybe the hopes for additional work in Tillamook County, because we do have a very valuable resource in the Aerospace Center out at Tillamook, TBCC. I've got all my acronyms mixed up this morning, Port of Tillamook Bay. So then I also got to visit Camp Rosenbaum, which is at Camp Rylea. It's a camp for about 150 to 175 9 and 10-year-olds. And it is named after Brigadier General who was very interested in camps for children, and the family still continues the effort. And it was a lot of fun because we got to see all of the programs that are available for all of these young kids, and they come from places in Washington, they come from Portland. We didn't have anyone at the camp from Tillamook County, however. But, there is the opportunity, especially for our law enforcement people, to be able to be included in Camp Rosenbaum, to be able to encourage some of our young people. There's music camp, there's writing camp, there's reading camp. It's a wonderful week for them, and it was also a really good opportunity for me to meet and visit with the governor's wife, as she was a guest there also, learning about the camp and all that it provides for our youth. Also participated in wildfire briefings and seeing how that is happening in our state. And we are also seeing, throughout the country, how wildfire is impacting our lives and the lives of other people. I worked with the lobby last week on the possibility of funding for abandoned vehicles, which we're finding to be a very expensive proposition for the state of Oregon and for our counties and for our municipalities, and how expensive it is to be able to take these vehicles and tear them down and get rid of the chemicals and the building materials in there that are, what do you do with them? And there are only certain recyclers that will take care of them, and it's very expensive. So anyway, the funding bill that didn't get passed in the last legislation, working on bringing that forward to make sure that we have that additional funding for our municipalities and our counties to be able to take care of them. Also attended meetings on the BPA discussion over funding for the SAFE program for our fish, and how we can additionally put more pressure on Bonneville Power to encourage them to support the program that supports our fisheries, and the trickle-down effect of supporting our fisheries. And then, too, I want to congratulate the people up in the north part of the county for the groundbreaking for Sammy's Place. It's up at Thompson Springs. It's going to be affordable housing for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It's 10 units. It's something that's been worked on for a lot of years, and it's finally coming to fruition. And I really want to congratulate the folks up there for all that they have done to make this possible. Once again, I just want to say, go to the fair, have fun, enjoy yourself, be safe. It's going to be a great week. And if you have any questions, let me know.
All right. Thank you, Senator. That was a very complete report. As you were going along, I was like, wow, lots of things to say about all the things that you were talking about. Obviously, the fair is crucial. You were talking about improvements out there. And if you have been watching it all, you've seen there's been a lot of electrical upgrades that have been done over the course of the year. So I'm curious and excited to get out there this year and see how those play into just how much smoother things run out of the fair. I think that's going to be crucial.
Yes, and I really want to acknowledge the fact that I was able to work with Senator Cedric Hayden and get the $1 million to upgrade our horse racing and those facilities also. And so that's going to be a bonus for our fair also.
Absolutely. I'm not sure how much of that will have been done before this fair, but there is exciting. I know that it's going to be upgrades to the horse barns that will be phenomenal, as well as some upgrades to the track and various other pieces. So thank you for that work.
Yeah.
We are lucky to be one of the few, I think the only, in fact, fair that hosts horse racing. There are other horse racing venues across the state that were part of that funding package, but we uniquely pair it with our fair. So
yeah. Yes, yeah. And it was interesting. I didn't realize the science there was behind the surface of the track and how important that is, and how we can upgrade that eventually because of this.
Absolutely,
for the safety of the horses and the drivers.
That's correct. Safety of horses and jockeys is paramount, and the surface of the track. That's why if we have just a little bit of rain, or, you'll find that horse racing is either delayed or canceled as they work to get that track into the right shape of consistency and all those things. So yeah, excited for the changes that will be made.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, thank you again. Great report. So much good stuff in there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give a call out real quick to Representative Javity. I didn't see his phone number, but oh, wait, there it is. Representative, please.
Good. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to be here. It's good. I'll keep it brief. I think Senator Weber covered a lot of different goings and comings in the district, in the counties this week. I got to see her last week at the Korean delegation. That was a fantastic opportunity to meet with people from Korea who've been around the state who really wanted to invest in or look at investing in some of the work being done over at the port with at the Johnson Space Center and around drones, and then and just view the port. So it was good seeing you there. And, my takeaway from meeting with them is they were really impressed with how well they were received by the community and what a great place the coast is, or in Tillamook County specifically. They just seem to really think highly of their visit. And so that was wonderful. It made Tillamook feel bigger than usual to have people from as far away as Seoul, Korea coming out to see what we're all about around here. The other activities last week, I spent a lot of time in different meetings with people just a variety of concerns. I would say the majority of the things that keep landing on my desk and in the email really revolve around just a couple of areas, predominantly healthcare. People are just overwhelmed by the cost of healthcare and the lack of access for healthcare. As I've gone around the community this week and over the last couple of weeks, just on the doorsteps with folks, when I ask what is on your mind, what is government getting right, and what is government not getting right, usually not too many things government's getting right, but things that we aren't getting right. Healthcare keeps coming up. People don't have access to health insurance. It's gotten too expensive. They can't qualify for Medicaid. They can't find the medication they need. It's $1,000 a month, or it's not available unless they drive long distances. And so I met with some groups this week, ranging from hospitals to smaller associations, just trying to get a sense of what pressures they're facing and what solutions they are considering. And I've had some productive chats in that way. But gosh, it's hard to just not be impressed or concerned with the pressures that folks in our community are facing, and not just with healthcare. A thing I've heard too from lots of people is how expensive it is to go to the grocery store. One person was had a bunch of little kids, and she said, she can't even afford a box of crackers anymore. She's thankful for discount stores like Grocery Outlet that have good deals. And food security, in my opinion, as we've gone around, as I hear from folks and go around the county and see what's happening in both Clatsop and Toma County, is a big deal. Folks are having a hard time making their grocery budget, and things like SNAP benefits are not as predictable anymore, and food banks have less than they used to, and so there's a real just anxiety, and it's not just on that. It's across the board. The number of times I hear people tell me that they would like us to do something about food prices it's the most I've ever heard in the 6 years that I've been serving in office, and so I think that's an interesting finding when in a country like ours with the resources that we have, that people really feel like food's almost out of reach for them. And then again, housing is another big issue. I've heard from a lot of folks. They are just, they want to find a place that's affordable, and they can't. Every place they look is either, full, there's long waiting lists for it, or if they were to, if there is some place available, it's more than 50% of their monthly income to move in, and they just don't have the resources. So I'm taking all this, detailed notes on this, trying to come up with some possible solutions as we head into the session for next year. Our deadline for legislation, for priority legislation, and by priority, it means things that will be ready to go, legislation that will be ready to consider and be voted on as soon as the second week of the session. Our deadline is coming up next month. And so this is just a call out to folks who have got an idea, something they really feel passionately about, and want to see if we can do something about it in the upcoming session, to reach out via email, and I will try to get some time on the schedule to talk with you. I've met in the last week. I met on Sunday with a group out in Cape Mears. We talked about a variety of issues, everything ranging from the security of our elections to eelgrass in the bay and what it's doing to our salmon population. And of course, healthcare again. And folks have got some good ideas, some concerns. I, in general, my response is I think our elections are going to be just fine. Here in Oregon, we've had very little, if any, fraud out of the last 20 years. 60 million votes, something like 29 cases where people were incorrectly registered and voted. And I think out of that, less than a small handful of that was intent, fraudulent intent. So I think our results are the results we get, and the process we have here in Oregon are in great shape. And but of course, if the public has a concern about something specific, they really ought to reach out either to me or the Secretary of State or the county clerks and kind of share what their concerns are. But focusing on this week, I met with the Salmonberry Trail folks yesterday. They just are working so hard to get that trail that would connect their counties together all the way over to Washington County, and the huge benefit that would be to our community kind of goes unsaid. It'd be great to have a spot where folks can walk and ride. It connects our communities, and the draw that would be for our economy. So we're really going to try in the upcoming sessions to see what resources we can get to help push that project along and get that done. Along the same lines, last week I talked about our state parks and how it would be great to have more accessibility for people who are residents of the state to be able to get to those if possible without even paying for parking. Now, I had to eat a little bit of humble pie on that one because people are our parks departments are just barely getting by and unable to take care of our parks. But the sentiment from folks, including parks, is that we want to provide top-notch parks, and we want everybody to enjoy them. And so I've had some productive conversations around how do we help people get to the parks that might not be able to afford the day pass. And there's been some real good ideas, everything ranging from library passes to discounts or free days for people who qualify for Medicaid or SNAP, so that they can get out of the home, get their kids out of the living rooms and the bedrooms on their devices and get out doing something, especially in Oregon, where our natural landscape and coastlands and resources are the best in the world. And so we'll continue to have more conversations about that, but also looking for ways to make sure we're funding the parks to the full level that we should. And I know Commissioner Fournier and others are working on ways to do that more locally with resources here in the county. And so I'm going to be looking for ways to support them in that work and to help out and get the resources they need. But so for everything from the Koreans coming to visit to people concerned about healthcare and food prices and housing to ways to get us outside and doing fun things in our community, those are kind of been the topics of the last 7 to 10 days. And then looking forward this week to the fair. I'll be the fair Wednesday and Thursday. Friday is also up in Astoria if anybody's going to be up in that area. The regatta, which is an annual event to have up there, and it's also a good time. Unfortunately, it clashes with our own Tillamook County Fair, but if you find yourself up there, there's a variety of activities all week. So I'll be up there on Friday and Saturday as well, supporting the community up there, and maybe I'll see you at either of those events. Hope I do. But that's my report for the week.
Thank you, Representative. And you also covered a variety of really important topics. I want to touch back on voting. I'm sure we'll ask Christy to join us as we get a little closer. But I do know that she's going to be out in the community giving some presentations, talking about our elections, because as most of you, if you listen regularly to this call, know, elections in Oregon and generally across the nation, frankly, are run by your counties. So it is our job to make sure that those elections and how they're handled are done in a safe, efficient, effective way. And our elected clerk, whom you all have put in place, does a fantastic job. And I know the message she wants to get out there is that our elections in Tillamook County are safe, and that if you have any questions, you should please reach out to her. She can walk you through, talk you through the process. You can also keep your eye out. She's going to be moving around the county, speaking at different service clubs and such, giving presentations about our voting process. So thank you for bringing that up. That is super important. In addition to that, you talked about parks and parks money, and I appreciate you being in that conversation. I really appreciate the call out that you gave to the fact that parks run on the money they generate, and that is both at the state level and the county level. So I know a lot of times people see the parks and they think, yeah, but that's my tax dollars. But in fact, that is not how that works. So it does make it challenging when we say, we would all very much like to make them free to everyone who lives in our county. And it's a challenge. But one of the places, Representative, that you might be able to help is there has been an understanding from the county that we are unable to provide anything special to our residents, that it is under the Constitution, everyone must be treated the same. We see that state parks are able to charge an out of area visitor fee. Not saying that's necessarily something we want to do, but it would be nice if permission was given. So I know that as we go into this legislative session coming up, there is some desire to look at where counties and cities are prohibited, if you will, from doing things that will help the financial position of the cities and counties that don't necessarily force us to rely on our property owners and residents, but maybe we could do a little bit more drawing on visitors, et cetera. So would love to talk with you about that before session.
That's a great idea. I've got it jotted down. I didn't realize that the counties didn't have the same flexibility as the state to charge out of state or out of county residents, a different fee if they wanted to. So I will start. Offline, I'll get together with you. We can talk about it. I'll see what we can do maybe at the state level to change that and give flexibility to counties that want to explore it.
That would be great, because we do have a number of prohibitions that that keep counties sort of in a box for revenue raising that we find challenge us. And this is one, is that understanding that constitutionally everyone must be treated totally equal, which keeps us from a difference for our visitors. So appreciate you looking into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Always having both our senator and our representative with us. This is a great space so that you can know what your elected officials are up to out there. And we appreciate all the hard work you do on behalf of Tillamook County.
Thank you. Good talking to you.
You too. All right. We are going to go ahead and move on then to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. I see Camille Sorensen is with us. Good morning, Camille.
Good morning, everybody. On Sunday, we kicked off National Health Center Week. And from humble beginnings to now serving millions of patients across the country, community health centers continue to innovate and adapt to meet the unique needs of the people they serve. 1 in 7 Americans, including 1 in 3 people in rural communities like Tillamook County, receive care at a community health center just like ours. We are proud to provide accessible, patient-centered care close to home. And whether it's primary care, behavioral health services, preventive care, chronic disease management, or care coordination, our team works every day to ensure that our coastal communities have access to quality health care when and where they need it. And behind every great health center is an incredible team, strong community partnerships, and trusting patients. Today, we recognize and celebrate all of them, and we could not deliver exceptional patient care without their contributions and support. So thank you. And next message is very timely for this morning. While we may not have local wildfires in Tillamook County, it pays to be prepared to protect ourselves and loved ones if a fire should occur, or if you travel to another area impacted by wildfires and smoke. Wildfire smoke is a mixture of gases and fine particles from burning materials that can be dangerous if inhaled. Smoke can also irritate your eyes and your respiratory system and worsen chronic heart and lung diseases. Smoke may worsen symptoms for people who have pre-existing health conditions and those who are particularly sensitive to air pollution, such as individuals with asthma or other chronic respiratory disease like COPD, those with cardiovascular disease, people 65 years of age and older, infants, children, pregnant individuals, and smokers. Wildfire smoke can cause watery or dry eyes, persistent cough, phlegm, wheeze, scratchy or irritated sinuses, headache, shortness of breath, asthma attacks or lung irritations, irregular heartbeat, chest pain or fatigue, non-fatal and fatal heart attacks. The amount and length of smoke exposure, as well as a person's age and degree of susceptibility, play a role in determining individual risk for smoke-related health problems. If you experience serious medical problems for any reason, please seek medical attention quickly. Limit all your exposure to poor air quality by staying indoors whenever possible with windows and doors closed. Use high efficiency or HEPA air cleaning filters when available. Avoid vacuuming, which can stir up dust. Keep windows closed when driving and set AC to recirculating. Finally, drink plenty of water to reduce symptoms of scratchy throat and coughing. You can check on your local air quality index by visiting the Oregon State AQI map for local updates. Or most phone weather apps and weather.com show live local AQI next to or near the temperature. I know I checked mine in Rockaway Beach this morning and it was 154, which is in the unhealthy range. In County Fair Week, as we shared last week, we want to remind everyone that attends the fair to try and wash their hands or use hand sanitizer frequently, especially after visiting the animal barns, using the restroom, and before eating and drinking anything. This simple practice can help you avoid exposure to common viruses and bacteria. We want everyone to have a fun time and stay healthy. And this is a public health reminder to stay safe by avoiding contact with bats to reduce exposure to rabies. You should know that bats are natural carriers for rabies in Oregon. The Oregon Health Authority and Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife are urging people to prevent exposure to rabies while highlighting the importance of bats to the state's ecosystems. Bats are protected wildlife, which makes it illegal to harm or keep them. If you see a bat that appears to be sick, stay calm and do not touch it, and keep people and pets away. When the sick or dead bat is indoors, do not release the bat. It may have exposed someone or a pet to rabies. If it's safe to do so, cover the bat with a box or container. When the bat is outside, cover it with a box or bucket if safe to do so. And finding a dead bat does not require action unless someone was bitten or scratched before it died. Contact your local health authority for your area right away to discuss potential exposure to human or pets. If there are multiple sick or dead bats observed, you should report it to the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. When a person or pet has been bitten or scratched by an animal that may have rabies, report the exposure immediately to your public health authority or your healthcare provider and seek medical care immediately. Teach children to avoid all contact with bats and other wildlife. Avoid bats seen in the wild, such as while hiking. Make sure your pets' vaccinations are up to date, whether they are indoor or outdoor pets. And unvaccinated pets that encounter a bat may have to be quarantined for up to 4 months or euthanized. You can protect your home from bats by covering vents, chimneys, and other entry points with screens. And finally, we want to remind everyone that dermatologist Dale Westrom and physician assistant Dove Rainbow are taking appointments regarding your skin concerns on Wednesdays at our Main Street clinic location. They can diagnose and treat skin problems from mild to severe, and appointments are available on Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can call 503-842-3900 to schedule an appointment. And that's the end of my report today.
Thank you, Camille. Lots of great information. All right, we will move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Good morning, Gail.
Yes, good morning. Couple of announcements from the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy in Wheeler. We have a new provider. She started this week, Anita Jenkins. She earned her Doctor of Nursing Practice from Baylor University. So she joins our primary care team and will help support access to care for patients in our community. And next is we recently received the Oregon Health Authority's Primary Care Patient-Centered Home Health Equity Designation. And what is this? This is a special recognition to primary care clinics that demonstrate exceptional commitment to providing accessible, culturally responsive care. This recognition builds on our Tier 5 patient-centered primary care home designation, the highest recognition level awarded by the Oregon Health Authority. So we are very proud and wanted to share out this wonderful news to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail, and congratulations. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Amanda Bunger.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm going to talk today about our lethal means storage and disposal program. Creating time and distance between a person in crisis and highly lethal means can save lives. So reducing immediate access to firearms and other lethal means gives individuals the time for the crisis to pass and additional time for people to connect with help and other resources. So our prevention and crisis programs at TFCC have an ample amount of lethal means storage and disposal resources. So those include firearm locks and safes, medication lock boxes, and medication disposal pouches. And these are available to the community, to our clients, to anyone who feels the need to have these in their home. You can just simply call us at 503-842-8201 and ask for Sarah, or just let the individual answering the phone know that you're interested in one of those lock boxes, safes, or medication disposal pouches. So I really encourage the community to utilize them. Again, they're only efficient if we can get them out into the community and out of our storage downstairs. So again, if you or anyone you know are interested in any of those lethal means storage and disposal units, please give us a call at 503-842-8201. And that's my report for today.
Thank you, Amanda, and thank you for bringing that up. You know, we do a certain amount of work, or I don't, but our Veteran Services Officer, Nick Torres, does a great job of working with our veterans, and each year they have gun safes that they make the giveaway, you know, to recognize and acknowledge that that exactly what you said, that having that lethal method control can allow someone to take a breath and think twice before they and get help before they maybe do something that really is not what they want to do, but it just that they're so in the moment with that. So I appreciate knowing that those are available to everyone in our community, and not just through our veterans program, but through you as well for everyone. So thank you for bringing that up. That is super important.
Of course, and again, we just are very much wanting to get these out in the community and used. And again, if you have children in your home, it's always a good idea to lock up your medications, even if it's not in regards to suicide or lethal means. Just being protective of your guns and medication is always a good idea. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, 100%. Sometimes those types of things can just seem financially out of reach for people, and it is fantastic to know they are free through your agency. So if you are sitting there and know that you have medications that should be locked up and just have not had the means for a lockbox, please know they are available free of charge, Tillamook Family Counseling Center. So that's fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. The Sheriff's Office normally joins us at the first Tuesday of the month. However, I know they're super busy right now between summer and setting up at the fair. So I'm going to pause for a minute in case there's anybody here whose number I'm not recognizing from the Sheriff's Department. Okay, not hearing anyone. Stop by and see them at the fair. They have their office there, and I know they're super, super busy. All right, Emergency Management, Randy Thorpe, what do you have for us this morning?
Well, good morning, Tillamook County. I am broadcasting from the Tillamook County Fair. I'm setting up the emergency preparedness booth that's right across the aisle from the creamery. So again, a shameless plug, please stop by. We're going to have a lot of different organizations here with a lot of handouts and maybe some prizes. So we definitely want to see you here. I also wanted to touch again on the wildfire situation here. Like it was mentioned, that's not fog out there. That is definitely smoke. So just be careful when you're outdoors, especially if you have any respiratory issues, and especially if you go over the mountain into the valley, because there are some of those areas are in very high and extreme issues over there. A little bit on some statistics on our wildfires here in Oregon. Of course, Governor Kotek has declared a statewide emergency for the wildfires, which will allow us to go ahead and start going after federal money to help pay for the fires that we have. There's been 5 counties that have done individual declarations too at this time. Now, a little bit on numbers. This is quite amazing. To date, we have burned 1,681,371 acres in Oregon. As compared to this time last year, there was only 1.5 million. So we're well ahead of what we had even last year, and we just are starting August. So that's kind of the gloom. Right now, they have they're working on 55 active fires, and so far this year there's been 190 fires, and these are fires that are a significant size, which we're talking more than 1,000 acres. Also, if you've been watching the news, our largest fire complex is over 300,000 acres just in one area. So the east side is really getting hit heavy with wildland fire. And I bring this up because even though we're on the coast and we get rain occasionally and it's very moist, we still need to be extremely careful when we're out recreating in our forested lands around us and even on the beaches in our backyard. So with that, I'll turn that back to you, Commissioner Scar.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone will stop by and see Randy and our associated preparedness groups and others that will be sharing his table out at the fair. We know that we live in one of the most disaster-prone counties in the state, lucky us. But what it means is that for each of us, preparedness is a very important personal thing that we need to do. There are just too many people here and too many of us to rely on our small governments to show up with all the food, water, and everything we would need in the event of an emergency, whether that be a fire that you are evacuating from, or whether that be a flood or an earthquake. So if you don't know where to begin, I'm sure there will be materials at Randy's table that just helps us all with where do I start so that you can begin to be prepared. And if you already feel like you're pretty prepared, I'm sure they also have materials for the next level up. So please do stop by and see them at the preparedness table. Okay, next up is the Oregon Department of Transportation, our once monthly visit with Bill Jablonski. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Commissioner Scar. Thank you very much. And good morning, Tillamook County. Bill Jablonski, the ODOT Area Manager based here in Astoria. I got just a few updates for the county itself. We are well into our busy construction season in Tillamook County. Matter of fact, there's a huge effort this summer in Tillamook County, especially along Oregon 6. The Oregon 6 paving job from mile point 4 to 9 is wrapping up. This week is nighttime work to put in some striping and the center rumble strips, as well as some cleanup work. So we expect to have that project buttoned up here in a couple of weeks. But thankfully, they're actually able to work at night when the traffic levels aren't as high. So they're able to stay safe that way too. The guardrail project that we have going on in Oregon 6 goes until mid-year of next year of 27. They are between Tillamook County and Washington County, upgrading those guardrails, including those bridge ends as well too. So please look out for those folks. They tend to be more on the side of the road, not so much of a traffic impact as you would maybe on a paving operation. But thank you for your patience as you drive through those work zones and keeping our contractors and ODOT employees, as well as fellow travelers, safe as well too. Let's see, I got from the district side, our district manager, Mark Buffington, is telling me that they're doing patching on Oregon 6 on the Washington County side through the month of August. So look for those ODOT crews during the day on that section of highway. And also patching has been done on the minor highways and sinks, 130, 131, and Oregon 22 as well. And also they finished their patching and ditching work on this side, the Tillamook side of Oregon 53. I just want to put a plug in for the Northwest Area Commission of Transportation, the Northwest Act as it's called. It meets this month in Tillamook at the Port of Tillamook Bay, the Officers Mess. The meeting is going to be Thursday, August 13th from 1 to 3 p.m. I'll be sending out the agenda this week, and I'll certainly send a copy to the county as well for their use, for folks that want to call in and get that information about the agenda. It is an in-person as well as a virtual option, so there's a couple different ways that folks and community members can participate in that. My last comment was just get a little bit of a heads up. So about a year and a half from now, ODOT is going to be starting construction on the US 101 Juneau Hill Bridge. That project is a rehab project, widening that bridge area, as well as adding pedestrian facilities as far as bikes go, and upgrading the guardrail on there as well too. We're also looking at some safety improvements at the intersection there on the north side of the bridge. Again, if you're not familiar with it, that's the bridge just to the north of the Tillamook Creamery as you're heading north towards Rockaway Beach. More to come on that as far as traffic staging goes. Again, it looks like more like nighttime work, so we're not impacting the traffic. We also have an eye out and making sure that emergency services can get to the hospital and clinics. We know that on the south side of that bridge. So more to come on that, but just a little bit of teaser, a heads up on what to come for the next big improvement there for Tillamook County. With that, Commissioner, I'll pause for questions, and thanks again for the opportunity.
Sure, you bet. Well, I just wanted to acknowledge and thank you all for the traffic change that was done here right in Tillamook at 101 and Highway 6. I realize that for everyone who has spent the last couple of years getting used to the previous 1 arrow straight, 2 arrows turning, we are now all reloading, and there are 2 arrows that could give an arrow straight, an arrow with a possible turn or a possible straight. So everybody's brain has to kind of retool and remember now when you are sitting in the left lane right there on the Highway 6 where it comes to a junction with 101, the person to your right may go straight or may turn right. So I know that you guys have signed it, and I think that it's what a lot of people were hoping for because it's more intuitive, but until we all learn how to do it, it's also a little unnerving. So just thank you for doing that. Again, it's far more intuitive. We'll all learn.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner, for mentioning that. And yeah, it is learning, and it is actually more intuitive as well. And it has taken us a while to get that improvement in place. So great to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So, all right. Well, thank you for being with us. And I know you are always open to hearing from people if they have concerns. So please don't hesitate to reach out to Bill. Are you still in the Tillamook office once a month where people can just walk in?
Well, it's typically twice a month. It's the last Thursday and the first Thursday of the month. It's kind of hit or miss right now, just with our staffing shortage. So I'm usually there with the door might be closed. You have to knock on it. It's right next to the DMV office there on Evergreen. So, or you can even call or send me an email message and saying you want to get together as well. That works too.
Perfect. Appreciate that. And I appreciate the responsiveness that I've always received from you and from your team here in Tillamook. You guys do a great job on the ground and we appreciate you.
Right. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, next is Board of Commissioners, and I am the only Board of Commissioner here, member of the Board of Commissioners here. So I will do just a very quick report out. 2 different organizations that I sit on the board for were organizations that had meetings, one last week and one this week that I want to highlight briefly. So I sit on the State Forest Trust of Oregon, which is a nonprofit organization that is a supporting organization to the Oregon Department of Forestry's Recreation, Education, and Interpretation programming. This is an organization that helps to raise funds so that all of those programs of the department can be enhanced and expanded without drawing on timber revenue, which we all know is in short supply. I bring this up today because if you are someone who has a really strong heart for the state forest, we are looking for board members to join us. And I don't know everyone in our community and where your passions lie, but I definitely have a passion for the state forest for many reasons, certainly not the least of which is my desire to recreate out there. So this is a great organization, and I would love to have some fellow Tillamook folks join me on this board. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me directly. Another organization that I am on the board of is Northwest Senior and Disability Services. They provide service in 5 counties, one of which is Tillamook County, and they are providing the senior meals in Tillamook County. They are providing Meals on Wheels. They are providing assistance for seniors who need in-home care. They are providing assistance for seniors who need to go to a senior or long-term care facility. They are just really at the heart of what are the programs available and helping people access them. There are 2 advisory boards for that agency. One is a senior advisory board and one is for those with disabilities. Both of those advisory boards currently have openings for the Tillamook representation. And again, I would love to have folks bring the voice of seniors and those with disabilities in Tillamook County and how services are working to those advisory boards. And again, you can reach out to me directly if you have any questions about that. So with that, I will stop for today because we're all going to be out at the fair. And if you have a question for me, catch me or my fellow commissioners out there. We'd be happy to chat with you. And we will move on to our cities. So I don't believe we have Manzanita today. They let me know they would not be with us. Traditionally, we do not have Nehalem or Wheeler, so I will move on to Rockaway Beach. Mayor McNeely.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'll begin with the Oregon Department of Transportation. They did announce this year's Small City Allotment Grant Awards. Unfortunately, Rockaway Beach was not selected for funding during the cycle, but the city will move forward using local funding sources to complete the capital improvement program priority project P1-3, which is South Crest Terrace and South Terrace Drive. We'll also do some additional slurry seal projects, but these are still under evaluation and prioritization, so I don't have any intel about which streets will receive the slurry seal treatment. 4 new, this is very exciting, 4 new 50-amp electrical services have been installed at the Rockaway Beach Wayside. These new power pedestals will meet the increased power demands for food carts and sound and stage equipment. The upcoming NCAM Music Festival will be the first event to utilize this new upgrade, and this free music festival does take place August 15th and August 16th. Good news, bad news. There was a grass fire near the beach close to Northwest 20th Avenue. The good news is Rockaway Beach Fire Department responded and extinguished the grass fire quickly. On July 29th, Public Works Director Mertz joined representatives from North Coast Land Conservancy to conduct a roads review of the Jetty Creek property we are purchasing to compare field conditions with the property's title report. The review found no discrepancies or issues requiring further action, so more good news. My monthly update with a look back at July in Rockaway Beach is now available on our city's Facebook page and website. And then just a shout out for Movies in the Park at Phyllis Baker Park Saturday, August 8th with You, Me, and Tuscany. I wasn't familiar with this film, so I looked it up, and it evidently follows Anna, a young woman who abandons her chef dreams and finds herself in a whirlwind of romance and deception in Tuscany. So come join your neighbors at Phyllis Baker Park this Saturday for what appears to be a good movie beginning at sundown. Just a big thank you to Rockaway Beach Business Association, Sequest Gifts, All Professionals Real Estate, and Seabreeze Ice Cream for bringing us Movies in the Park. With that, I'll kick it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, moving on to the city of Bay City. I have Mayor Welch, I believe.
Good morning. This is Mayor Welch.
Good morning.
Thank you for all the great conversation. So this Friday from 11 to 1, Bay City is hosting the League of Oregon City Small Cities meeting for Region 1. Region 1 is Tillamook, Clatsop, and Columbia counties. And so the mayors, city managers, and city councilors are coming. So it is a public meeting. And so if you would like to come, it's at the Bay City Hall for this Friday from 11 to 1. We'll also be having our city council meeting next Tuesday. And actually, we'll be discussing our legislative priorities that will move forward up to the League of Oregon Cities as the the league and then the Association of Oregon Counties continue to work on legislative priorities for the upcoming session. And with that, I will turn it over back to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we will wrap up with the city of Tillamook and City Manager Sean Lewis. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Commissioner. Just before everybody gets in on the fair, remember that tonight at Goodspeed Park is National Night Out. This is a deal with our Tillamook Police Department. Free hot dogs, hamburgers, ice cream while supplies last. There's music and games. But to me, the premier event of National Night Out is the dunk tank. And I have it on very good authority that at least one city council member, one mayor, and one police chief will be participating in the dunk tank, where you can pay $1 to try to throw a softball and dunk our city leaders. My doctor tells me I can't participate, so I don't get to get in it, but the other city leaders will. And I'm also told that if you donate $20, that you can just go up and push the button. So if you have beef with the police or with the mayor or our city council, please take your frustrations out on them tonight in the dunk tank. That's from 5 to 7 at Goodspeed Park. Last night at our city council meeting, the council had a second reading on the RV ordinance that we discussed last week, and this goes to what the senator was talking about abandoned vehicles and such like that. This ordinance will take effect 30 days from last night's meeting. The purpose of this is not to penalize or make punitive the storage of RVs or people loading their RVs or anything like that. This is merely to clean up our streets. One city council member did a loop around the city and didn't even hit the entire city, just one section of the city, and counted 67 boats, RVs, trailers, and such that were parked long-term on the streets. And that's what we're trying to clean up. So what this ordinance does is it says that you cannot store RVs, boats, trailers, anything like that on the street at all. Those need to be pulled into the driveway or stored in an off-site location. There is, remember, our code enforcement is going to try and educate before we cite, and we're not trying to get the people for like grandma that's coming to park overnight or even for a couple of days. What we're trying to have is another tool in our arsenal that we can use to combat the abandoned and the ones that are there long-term, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But the preference in this ordinance is that you park your cars on the street. Cars generally will move. There is a 72-hour limit for cars to be on the street, but this is to help us clean up those abandoned vehicles and derelict vehicles that are just being stored on city rights of way. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to contact City Hall in my office, and we'll be able to walk you through the particulars and how we plan to enforce that. Another ordinance that was brought up last night was our downtown parking that would allow us to do some parking permits and passes. The council had some questions on that one, and so they tabled the discussion until our meeting on August 17th. And so there is that will come back for first reading again on the 17th, so that we can cross some T's and dot some I's on that ordinance and those ordinance changes. The other thing on our radar right now is the much like Mayor McNeely, who did a wonderful job describing their movie in the park. We have movies in the park coming up on August 14th. That's here in a couple of Fridays. And we will be showing Hoppers. I know we advertised that last time, but our sponsor for this, which I believe is in the Nehalem Bay Health Center, is doing Hoppers. And so we had to pivot our movie last time. We had over 100 people in the park last time, and it was a wonderful time. And specifically for this movie, it will be shown, for what I understand, will be shown in Spanish with English subtitles. So extra benefit for our Latino community to come in and see the movie in their native tongue. So that's what's going on with the city of Tillamook. And please, everybody's welcome to come chat with us at City Hall or call me if you have any questions or just want to chat about what's going on in the city.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. I appreciate everyone who's been with us today. I appreciate all of our presenters. It's so great to know what's going on across our county. I appreciate everyone taking the time. I look forward to seeing you all at the county fair this week. Again, a great place to grab the ear of one of your local elected officials, because we'll all be there. With that, we've got a couple of announcements. There will be no Board of Commissioners meeting or briefing on Wednesday, August 5th. The commissioners will be attending and participating in events at the Tillamook County Fair. The Board of Commissioners will attend a quarterly financial review on Monday, August 10th, 2026 at 9 a.m. The financial review will be held in the Board of Commissioners Meeting Room 106 at the Tillamook County Courthouse, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 866-914-607#. And with that, thanks to everyone for being here. Thanks to KTIL for broadcasting, and we will adjourn this meeting at 9 a.m. Have a great week.